Hey, hon, if you made a decision that felt like the best thing at the time, but now looking back at it, it maybe wasn't, I want to talk to you real quick. We do stuff that we think is the best at the moment, and then life happens and it hits us in our face, and it's like, wait, I regret doing that. And I've been on that side of the spectrum where it's like, I was so cold-heartedly thought that I was making the best decision, and then I realized it was coming from a place of hurt and place of trauma and unhealed stuff in my past, and I regret it. And to that, if you relate to it, I want you to know that you made the best decision that you could have at that time. It felt right. You didn't know what was going to happen in the future. You didn't know you were going to regret it. You didn't know it was going to hurt this bad, okay? It happened the way it needed to go down.
She's going to sink, Captain.
But she can't sink. She's unsinkable.
She can't float.
That was some heavy coping that many women, like this queen, lay down to try and ease the self-inflicted pain of how much they messed up by doing their ex dirty. Let's be honest, one only really regrets when one knows wrong was done. This queen is trying her best to make it seem kind of right, but she isn't fooling anyone. I particularly love the part where she says, and I quote, "It felt right. You didn't know what was going to happen in the future." Cap, total cap. Yes, women decide to do their exes dirty off feelings, but don't try to make it look like a split-second decision, especially when women cheat. I'm sorry, but most women put a lot of thought before they decide to be unfaithful. It rarely is a spur-of-the-moment thing, unless, of course, they were in a relationship with an imp.
And I think that you wouldn't have learned the lessons you've learned if you acted a different way, if you didn't listen to your heart and intuition. I think, yes, it hurts now, but don't beat yourself up over stuff you didn't know was going to happen. You did what's best for you at that moment. And I'm really proud of you, though, for, we can look at this regret as a bad thing, and we can look at it as, wow, we should have known better, or we could look at it as, wow, I've healed. In a sense, I'm healing. I'm looking at where I went wrong, and I'm healing from those scenarios. And I think a lot of time, maybe not from the other person's perspective, but from your perspective, that says a lot more about you than the action that you made. I mean, if you regret the action, but now you thought about it, you're thinking how you could have done better, it shows that you have a growth mindset, and that you're healing, and that you want to do better, and maybe that scenario will never happen again.
That was a very long-winded way to say, Queen, you effed up, you cheated on a good man for a bad boy, you went straight with your feels, you could pretend you didn't know what the future was going to bring, but in reality, it was exciting to be unfaithful, and you thought you would never get caught. Now, the bad boy went on to his next conquest, and your ex has gone up in SMV, with zero chance of him taking you back. Fam, did I miss anything? Oh yeah, I did. The part where she says, growth mindset and the scenario will never happen again. The capping continues. Fam, an unfaithful woman has a high probability of being unfaithful in her next relationship, as she has already proven once she can't pair bond. That's like asking a scorpion to please not sting you. It would be foolish to think it will go against its own nature. Think of it this way. This woman said she would be faithful to one eggplant farm, only to go tasting someone else's pickle at a different market. Your call if you want to wife that up next, King.
And that sucks. But that just means it wasn't meant to be. And if it does happen again, then it was meant to be, and you learn from your past mistake. You never know something's going to be a mistake until you try it. And I believe that that's how we learn. We learn from our past mistakes. We learn from other people's mistakes. So now you learned what you're going to do about it besides regretting it. If the situation doesn't happen again, how can you prevent the situation from happening to someone else? Take this time as growth, and don't take this time as we should have known better. I hope this helps, and I promise it will all turn out the way it needs to be.
Queen, the way it turns out is thy streets shall calleth thy 304 spirit to returneth, and you shall answer thy call of the wild. Am I saying there is no cure for 304 behavior? Well, that is what it's looking like. But with treatment, the symptoms can be managed. There's no doubt the Jezebel spirit will try to get this queen back on the CC, even after she has gotten into a air quotes monogamous relationship. But my advice to this queen is for her to get into a relationship with the most toxic ex-con she can find, and after being treated worse than a public bathroom for a while, she should get out of it, and follow up by finding the biggest imp she can find. Whenever she thinks about doing her imp dirty, she can think back to the ex-con. It will help keep her on the straight and narrow. Are you searching for the right software to masterfully edit your videos? Then check out Wondershare Filmora, the one platform to push your storytelling boundaries. With Filmora, you will have access to royalty-free stock media, visual effects plugins, and smart templates to easily inject more variety into your videos. Filmora will help you grow with access to tutorials, tools, and a platform to create even better videos to share with their built-in community. Click the link in the description to sign up for a free trial and use the coupon code on the screen to save 10% on your purchase.
The reason I say don't put too much weight on the breakup words is because when I work with the person who did the breaking up, and then they are trying to get this person back at some point, they tell me about the conversation they had at the end. And many people I work with feel that remorse. Like, I can't believe I said that to them. I cannot believe I did that to them. They have a really hard time living with it. So don't think all these people, when they hurt you, they just go in the other direction, forget about it, and feel like, okay, that's it, it's done. A lot of people do feel the effects of it after. Like, I can't believe I did that. That person was so important to me, and I acted like a jerk. So don't think for 1 minute people don't sit with what happened at the breakup. They absolutely do. So don't tell yourself otherwise. They do. I know they do. I work with them.
I would like to start off by informing my viewers that although you are all used to me providing quantifiable evidence to prove my claims, I have to say that breakup regret is one of those topics the mainstream media outlets go out of their way to hide the percentage difference among the dumpers' genders. Yes, we all know women initiate 70% plus up to 80% of all divorces, depending where you live, but I'm trying not to laugh as every search result I have done to find a percentage breakdown of breakup regrets either completely ignores that fact or uses camouflage language like this woman by just saying people, or tries to use an emotional point by claiming men regret breakups more than women because of what they said. It is hilarious how the mainstream society goes out of their way to pamper women for any bad choices they made. The closest I could find to a quantifiable study that holds women accountable, links in the description, was a 2011 article about a telephone survey that showed more than twice as many women as men regret mistakes with their ex-partners. 44% women compared to 20% men. I swear if half this much effort was put into protecting a woman's chastity, dating would be 10 times easier for men, women, and that Skittles rainbow in between. The point is, women today don't take accountability in dating because protecting their fifis is more important, which inadvertently makes Chad Tyrone's chances of scoring go up. And the cycle continues anew. Moving on.
Haha. I knew that someone was going to ask this question, and I'm honestly grateful because I think that it's important to talk about breakups and relationships ending because it's just important. So, did our relationship end on positive terms? For the most part, I would say. Were there hard feelings? Yes, on my part, because he, from what I know, went to be with the person that he was also in a relationship while we were together, and there were not any rules that were like broken or between the two of us. So I, from the beginning, said that I knew we wouldn't be together forever, and I think that's the reason why I wanted to be in an open relationship, because there's always something to learn from a relationship, and we were together for about 1.5 years, and it was the most open and communicative relationship that I've ever been in my whole life, and for that I am incredibly grateful.
This queen practically said the open relationship was her idea without actually saying it. Ladies, you can try to sugarcoat this one, but all of you and I know women love to code speak and encrypt messages. It's not that hard to decrypt if you are willing to learn womanese, which I speak fluently. Let's observe, shall we? First clue, when she admitted she knew they weren't going to be together forever. Only a woman who wants to initiate an open relationship would say that. Second clue, her combination of tone of voice and her posture shows she is both a controlling type of person while also showing a faint hint of being hurt. This tells us it was her plan and it backfired. Third clue, when she said he went to be with the other woman. In open relationship stories, it's usually the person that didn't want to be in an open relationship that leaves with the new person they found. I doubt this queen's claim of a mutual breakup is completely accurate.
And as far as like how it ended, I would say it ended as best as it possibly could have, and I knew going into it that if he like fell for someone else or ended up wanting to be with someone else, that was just the reality of it. So no, that was not easy, and I had some things to work through there, obviously. But now that we have been split up for this long, I have taken the good from it and moved forward, and I think that's all we can really do. And I guess I feel like I need to say that he's not a bad person for going to be with this other person. I think it was certainly for the best and was just something that I had to work through, which I am fully capable of. So being in an open relationship was a wild experience. I don't think that I have maybe fully wrapped my mind around it and whether I will want to be in an open relationship in the future. I'm just not sure, but as far as the honesty and the communication, like I will never have another relationship where that is not present, because for me, it's just the most important. So absolutely no regrets about the open relationship that I was in with this person. And
Queen, please don't come with the no regrets line at the end. If you didn't have any regrets, you would not have made this video, and you definitely would not even attempt to justify anything. Oh, you don't buy that? Okay, then why admit to having doubts of being in another open relationship in the future? Why claim you were conscious of him possibly falling for someone else and then state you had a problem with it when it happened? Why don't you just admit you wanted your cake and eat it too? But now you regret your idea. Oh, that's right. You didn't want to get permanently back on the... You just wanted a temporary ride while he imped for you when you got off. But it didn't work out that way. Ladies, maybe you didn't get the memo, but 95% of men are territorial. That includes intimacy with our monogamous female partners. If you want to make yourself a community taco, men are not going to want to pour their sour cream in that shell anymore. Moving on.
When you first break up with someone who's not good for you, you might end up regretting that decision. Because there's always a period of time where you remember the good. And those good memories end up overpowering the bad ones. You start to second guess the decision you made. You start to wonder whether or not it was the right one. All of these thoughts are completely normal, but that doesn't mean you made the wrong decision. I bet you that right now you're diminishing the bad. You're reminding yourself that no one's perfect and this person really did care about you. And you're right, not everyone's perfect. Everyone has things they need to work on, but that doesn't mean you should ever tolerate a toxic person in your life. You breaking up with this person was the best decision that you could make for your long-term mental health. And in the end, you decided that you wanted a better future. And sometimes ending something with someone you still love is the only way to get that. Sometimes making the right decision is a difficult and painful decision, but in the end, it ensures a better future for you. And that is what matters.
Ladies, let me point out the not so obvious of this queen's advice. Not only is it extremely vague, it also really doesn't give a solution other than a maybe you will feel better. Let me put it this way. What exactly is toxic? That word is on a drastic spectrum in womanese that can range from leaving the toilet seat up all the way to substance abuse. Face it, ladies, one woman's toxic is another woman's completely acceptable. For argument's sake, let's say toxic is male infidelity. Let's be real with this, ladies. Depending on if he is an HVM, this could or could not be acceptable. Example, if you were married to Ryan Reynolds, Idris Elba, or J.D. Pardo without a prenup, you may just turn a blind eye to him stepping out because of the lifestyle he provides. Alright, now, let's say toxic is verbal insults or verbal degrading. Well, again, you're going to ask yourself, what am I going to give up not to hear harsh words anymore? And ladies, if men are willing to put up with years of nagging, then it behooves you to think on this one. Now, let's say toxic is he is always in a bad mood when he comes home from long hours at work. Just keep in mind, when you leave, you will be the one putting in the long hours at work. It's all on a sliding scale, and I will be the first one to say not one of these kings is perfect, and they all have a laundry list full of flaws. But guess what, queens? Neither are you, and your laundry list is probably equally long, maybe even longer. Also, how sure are you the grass will be greener with your next relationship? I'm just saying. If you agree or disagree with anything about this audit, please let us know in the comments. I'm going to leave this audit right here. I'll see all of you in the next episode.